Welcome back to The Rising of the Shield Hero anime review, episode number 22. We are here reviewing the 42nd episode of the series, Operation Search for the Spirit Hero. Now, I did read a little bit more into basically what was basically adapted for the last episode and basically this episode. So in the case of where they stopped at when it came to Chapter 5, they got halfway through Chapter 5, and then they skipped over the second half, and then they skipped straight to the second half of the chapter, the first half of Chapter 6, and this episode they adapted the rest of Chapter 5 and the rest of Chapter 6, went through what I can tell you was the entirety of Chapter 9, basically 7, 8, and pretty much the first half of Chapter 9. Yep. So we pick up pretty much where we left off last time, where it reveals some interesting stuff here with this one. So the Queen informs Nafumi and his group about where the Spear Hero is. Now, in the anime, they say it was different location because I believe I reading the book, they say it was on a mountain someplace. They say he's on a town near Milsmic. That's basically where he is. Now, they don't say at this point what happened to his team, but they do what happened to the Spear Hero's team. The Sword Hero. So the Sword Hero's team died when the Spirit Taurus attacked. Which is basically now... I should point something out about the Spirit Taurus stuff. That this is happening from the book. The anime basically made up what the heck they were up to. So apparently the Sword, Spear, and Bow Hero were fighting in one of the waves when the Spirit Taurus was going on. They basically did not want to get involved. So, and you see this, and if anybody watched previously, he's like, wait, why in the world are they saying that the Spear Hero fought these heroes fought the Spirit Tortoise? Well, this is the director corrected a mistake from the previous season. So you could say that this episode established a retcon. No, it does not establish a retcon. It's adapting straight from the book, and the director is not stupid. Like the director of last season, who basically adapts out of order and basically makes up his own nonsense for the show. And that's why Season 2 gets a lot of flack from people who love the show. The first season is fantastic. People love the first season. Second season, I do like the animation. The problem with the second season is they adapt too much stuff out of order. I'd say probably the best that they adapt is when they get to the Glass World stuff. It just stuff is happening out of order for no reason. Yeah, like, what was the reason why last season had to adapt stuff out of order? Like, chapters out of order, like, scenes are adapted out. Like, in the case of the first book they adapted for the previous season of the show, which was book 6, by the way, like, there was one book, I think it was book 9, that took up, like, one episode. I'm like, seriously? Like, it was so freaking stupid. This season, basically, is correct. I think the director, who directed the first season, he is trying to correct the mistakes that the previous director did. Like, for one thing, sticking much more close to the source material and actually including actual dialogue from the book. Instead of making up whatever stuff, basically, or adapting scenes out of order. Because that's basically what happened. Like, if you watch the previous season, you know that the heroes were fighting up one of the waves. While here they said, nope, they're fighting the Spirit Tortoise. Now, this particular season is going from the material from the actual book. What's explained in book 10, actually this is book 11, mind you. So, I don't blame the director for this at all. This is not his fault. He is sticking as close as he can to the source material while adapting as much as he can for a single episode. Yes, the first episode of the season did pretty much adapt a lot of stuff and skipped over from book 10, but at least he did a much better job basically explaining the story better, because certain stuff was expunged that was basically that because what they did for the first season of the show, when they got to that last episode, they adapted bits and pieces of the first few chapters of book 10, and this season is like adapting the rest of that. Excuse me, because book 10 was basically finished up in just 3 episodes, and this is only the second episode that covers book number 11. So, Yeah, so the Sword Heroes team died. We'll get back to that. So they go back to the village, and we see like the murder clown is showing up in the village while basically cooking kids breakfast. And of course, the murder clown has to leave. Though I do notice though that the voice is really weird, where apparently it's like there's a glitch in the voice. Now I don't know if that's now I'm not blaming Crunchyroll for that at all. That could be the animation doing that, or probably her voice sounds like that. That is my personal guess, anyways, of why in the world. Now, I was actually quite surprised to see her here. Yeah, Sin, look, we actually see her at her mask the first time. Because basically she... Because she shows up here expecting food. Now, Fumi doesn't recognize her because he has a mask, and of course he asks her to leave because she does this thing where she kept looking back, and then she leaves. She'll come back, don't worry. So, if you're really curious, because this is technically in the way from book 11 for the series, but don't worry, she does come back. Yeah, so she'll be back before the finale. So Sina basically stays in the village because she's not in the rest of the material, because she stays in the village to train with Fall, and of course his sister too. So we have the original trio, Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Philo. Philo gets a new carriage, and they go off to the town where the Spear Hero is. And we see the Spear Hero, and he is a wreck. He's described as a varric by one of his former party members. And you're probably wondering, what the heck happened with him in the Spiritoris? So he tried to take the Spiritoris, and he failed. So his party abandoned him. And our party members happens to include Hor, the former princess of this kingdom. And there's a scene later on in the episode, they cut out a completely character for this one, for no reason. So he arrives at Elaine's shop. Elaine is one of the party members, which I kind of forgot she was. I think it's first they ever mentioned her name in this series, because I don't remember them ever mentioning her name before, because here she is, appearing in this episode. Her name is Elaine Heaven. It's almost like she was simply a minor character. Now, they do change exactly what she was doing when of course, the Spear Hero met up with her. Now, this is not her first appearance. She actually first appeared in the opening episode of the series. Now, she decided to retire because Naofumi's idiocy. Naofumi was from the Spear Hero's idiocy. So, she basically went to family business. Naofumi to speak to her, and that's about taverns and the fact what happened, which of course shows the party abandoning him, his parent. By the way, Hor has got a slave crest. Yes, she has a slave crest, and I'm glad that the anime remembered she has that, because according to the Queen, prior to her, well, we'll get to her, apparently it's being blocked for some reason. Yes. Now, there is no explanation for this at all. Now, if you remember correctly, she did briefly appear in Season 2, where she did absolutely freaking nothing. And here it's like, oh yeah, we're showing stuff that should have been adapted for the previous season. Like, basically what actually really happened to the other cardinal heroes. So, Naofumi himself basically goes to the tavern and finds... Well, by the way, Elaine, when Spear meets up with her, because in the book, she's actually inside of her shop when he meets up with her. In the anime, it's outside the shop. Okay. Most of the conversation with him is basically simple. And then, of course, Naofumi meets up with a sword hero. In the anime, it's inside of the tavern. And I think in the book, I think it's outside. So, they have a conversation, and we show what happened to his party. Now, he says a line here. He says, they die because they're weak. Now, that part of the line he said, that is 100% accurate to the book. Which, thank you for including that, because that was something he said in the book. Thank you for including it. And he thinks he's like disregarding himself. And then all of a sudden, while they're talking, Horror shows up. Now, in the book, the other member of the party shows up here in this scene, where she's talking to him while that Fumi's obviously not able to see him. Now, in the way Amber presents, like, oh, here's Horror, and she, of course, still calling the sword, the spirit, the seal demon, which is something she called back in season 1. Yes, and if you're really curious, did she say that in the book? Yep, she did. Which, another good point on the part of the director. Keeping in her dialogue from the book, because a lot of her dialogue is pretty accurate. Like basically, like, she's basically trying to hypnotize the sword hero, and of course, basically, Naofumi tell her to be quiet or he'll kill her, which basically, yes, that's paraphrasing exactly. It's kind of also dialogue within the book, which, good job keeping that in, because I guess it's basically Horror. Now, in the book, they call her Witch. Now, in the dub, they call her Horror as her adventure name. And, of course, the Spear Hero shows up here, too. And, of course, Sword Hero goes nuts, unleashing one of his attacks, Meteor Attack, in the tavern, which caused damage, which he kind of did this in the book. I think he used a different attack in the book. So, he leaves with Horror. The Spear Hero is being useless, so he gets knocked unconscious. So, and then we see Philo dancing. And we see his lolly complex kick in because he has a thing for Philo. Philo is a little girl. And I'm like, I really want to punish him for trying to put sexual fantasies on a little girl. I'm sure even Naofumi wants to punch him for that. And of course, basically sees her dancing, and then the very next morning, they wake up, about to leave, and then there's the Spear Hero standing outside with him calling Naofumi's father. Which, yes, he did in this book too. He called Raphtalia a pig, a raccoon pig, and she punched him. Thank you, Raphtalia. Now, in the book, she hit him with the hilt of her sword. In the anime, she punched him. And then, of course, on the ledge, like, they proceed to leave, because the Spear Hero is not ready yet. And, of course, him yelling for Philo, which is about halfway through the chapter itself. Which, this episode was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Yes, like he mentioning, the director is not an idiot and he's not stupid. He keeps pouring stuff in, he doesn't cut stuff out, and also, he keeps stuff happening in chronological order. He may condense some stuff, yes, but he at least keeps everything in. Thank you for that. I'm going to keep praising him for the whole season because, well, he's a lot better job director last season of the show. Yep. So yeah, that's particular view. Now, if you want to comment on this, basically go right ahead and see. I want to hear what you guys' thoughts basically on this particular episode because I enjoyed this one. But you're probably thinking, what's my favorite part of the episode? The Spear Hero getting punched by Raphtalia for calling her a pig. I would love that Fumio punched him for being a lolly, for having a lolly complex. Yeah. So yeah, that's a particular view. I don't think I have time to do another video anime tonight, so sadly I'm going to have to save for tomorrow. But I'm happy I got this one done. So I have 2 left, but it's going to be increasing to 3 because of Miss Demon Academy coming out tomorrow, which is the penultimate episode of the first core. So you're probably thinking, wait, you did One Piece late last night because the reason why I'm gonna stop it right here is because I went to sleep really late last night, so I'm gonna try to get a little bit more sleep tonight because I have to work tomorrow. Yep, and plus because I'm driving. Yes, I have to drive to work. I'm driving to work tomorrow because I need to be awake to drive. So That's why I'm ending it here. So I'll see you all tomorrow for more. Now, you probably also asking Nick, where's the comic corner you say we're going to do today? There wasn't any time because, well, first I had to share like 8 videos before I did my previous video. So hey, at least I got one of the anime basically done. Yep. And do I think by Wednesday I might finish this up? Yes, definitely. Okay, next video. Bye.